As one of the agency's best employees, you've been selected as a finalist to potentially take on new top secret mission. You've already shown your aptitude for surveillance and disguise, but the agency is looking to test one last critical skills: how well you can drive. To prove yourself, you'll need to complete a series of complicated challenges behind the wheel. As the test begins, you notice that distances between yourself and the cars around you are being meticulously monitored. One of the most widely recommended strategies when it comes to safe driving is known as defensive driving. It doesn't mean driving paranoid, but rather making a conscious effort to anticipate potential errors and accidents. For example, keeping a 3-second distance from a car in front of you increases your chances of stopping in time if traffic suddenly halts. You soon approach your first obstacle, a sudden lane closure. While many assume that good driving etiquette requires them to merge as soon as possible, most safety studies suggest the opposite. Continuing at a consistent speed until you reach a lane endpoint, and then zipper merging decreases the number of potentially dangerous lane switches. And this doesn't just improve safety, it also keeps traffic moving. One study found that using signs and encourage drivers to zipper merge can reduce traffic backup lengths by 40%. Your phone lights up. It's the agency. Should you pick it up? While it might seem easy to multitask while you drive, most people can't balance driving with anything else effectively. It's estimated that 80% of accidents happen when the drivers look away from the road and just and just balance your hands on the wheel doesn't mean you're not distracted. In one study, drivers who were talking on the phone hands-free had delayed braking reaction and made as many mistakes as drivers who were intoxicated. And those who think they are exception of the rule and those who think they are exception to the rules might be the most at risk. People who self-identify as multitask pros tend to perform worst as tasks that require dividing their attention. Suddenly, a car cuts you off, and your hands instinctively move towards home. You're not alone. Up to a third of drivers report that they are acting aggressively on the road, honking and shouting at another driver. Up to a third of drivers report they acted aggressively on the road, honking and shouting at another driver. Road rage is thought to be sparked by perception of other drivers as reckless, rude, or even deliberately trying to impede you. It's typically exacerbated by personal factors like stress or being in a rush. Some psychologists theorize that we can feel isolated from others while in our cars and therefore somewhat anonymous. This may make us more prone to act aggressively or to even retaliate against other drivers. But being aware of this tendency and practicing relaxation techniques, like taking a deep breath in the moment, can help you avoid these hot-tempered situations. Finally, you approach your last test, a stop sign, but you don't see it. You mistakenly cruise through without looking and narrowly miss an accident. Mistakes don't feel great, but they are actually a valuable part of learning. This is especially true for new drivers. In one study, participants who practiced using a driving simulator that flagged their errors performed better on subsequent driving tests. And like any skills, becoming an expert driver takes time and practice. After all, controlling a vehicle while properly assessing your surroundings and following often complicated rules of the road is no easy feat. A majority of drivers first learn in their teens and early 20s when the brain is uniquely wired to learn from their new experiences and take on risks and challenges. New drivers can New drivers can take full advantage of this window of opportunities, beginning with short, familiar journeys to build confidence, and then tackling as many different driving conditions as they can. You arrive back at the agency feeling defeated, but to your surprise, you are handed an envelope with all the assignment details. While you may have made a few mistakes, it turns out you are the only agent. It turns out you're the only agent who can park.